Hey, welcome to your Taurus horoscopes for the week of the 7th through the 13th of January. And it is all about you this week. Jupiter is putting that expansive growth energy into you this week. Uranus is also still in Taurus, focused on you. Not necessarily because it's still retrograde. We're not talking radical changes here, but we are talking evolutionary changes. Just basically, what we're talking about here is the changes that you need to make in order to be successful. So we're eliminating things that you know have been holding you back, and we're embracing things that are going to take us to that scary place, which is success, really. Success is it's scary to to most of us because we don't understand what that looks like, and oftentimes we get there and still don't really realize that we're there because we don't understand what that looks like. But what we're really afraid of is that we're not going to be successful, or we're not going to be able to handle the success once we get there. And that's really something that I think a lot of people go through. It's really something that holds people back a lot. And I mean a lot, a lot. It seems to be something that comes up a lot around me, as well as for myself specifically. We do have a couple of little issues, and then a lot of planets working together in order to create this wonderful new you. So we'll start with the challenges and work our way up to the good stuff. Jupiter does continue to be in a square with Pluto. When you are focusing all that energy on growth on yourself, Pluto is sitting there in your career saying you have to change either back to who you were or you have to change to fit our needs when it comes to your career. And this actually happens a lot where, you get a specific personality and the job wants you to be them, to be their tool, their person. They want you to do it their way. They want you to compromise who you are in order to become what they are. And this is always a problem when you want to succeed in your career. But if you stand your ground, you never know what could happen because Jupiter is continuing to be in a grand sextile with Mars, which is focused on long-term goals, as well as Saturn, which is all about your responsibility. And Uranus is in a trine with the Sun, which is focused on shining in your career. So basically, I tend to look at it this way. If a place can't value you for who you are, it's no different than a relationship. You have to find the place that does value the gifts that you bring to the table. And chances are, most of the time, when somebody is coming to you and saying, "Hey, I'd give you that promotion if you weren't quite so, your light wasn't quite so bright, and blinding for everybody," and you say, "No, I'm not going to do that," you may get the promotion anyways. That's not a guarantee, though. Okay. However, you may change exactly who you are and not get the promotion anyways. It doesn't matter. I think I always land on I don't dim my light for anybody. If they can't handle my light, that's on them, not me, if that makes sense. Now, Uranus is in an opposition with the moon right at the beginning of the week. Like we're just kicking off the week with this moon opposition, but then it goes away by like tomorrow, literally. And the moon's focus really is on your relationship with your finances. And it's funny to actually talk about having a relationship with your finances, but it's true. We all do have a relationship with our finances. What we don't realize is what that relationship is. And this is a perfect time for you to sit down and understand what that relationship is. Now, it could be a relationship that you don't like. It could be a toxic relationship. It could be a not so great relationship. You need to know this because you can't fix it and or change it until you do know this. So this is a perfect time to understand what that is, hitting you on a very deep level so that you can do what you need to do to build a better financial relationship with your money. Last thing I want to talk about is Uranus's grand sextile with, no, I'm sorry, Uranus's trine with the sun here. No, we talked about that. Going under Jupiter's grand sextile with Mars and Saturn, which we didn't quite go into too terribly much. Mars putting all that energy towards your long-term goals. Two things come up with this. One, make sure you're not multitasking too much, that you put the proper amount of focus into everything that you're doing. That way things don't get confused and you wind up, kind of screwing everything up or burning yourself out. That's always a possibility. Saturn's responsibility or Saturn's responsibility is really focused on those that support you. And what's interesting about this is making sure that you are choosing the right support system geared towards the specific goals that you're creating right now. So you're not setting yourself up for being disappointed because you're trying to get your husband to support you and he just can't wrap his head around it right now. I make the biggest mistake all the time in my own business of it would just be easier if I had my family there to support me at shows and different things. It doesn't work out that way. I get let down a lot, not because my family is unhelpful, but because everybody's got their own thing going on. And their whole world does not revolve around me. And that's kind of where we set ourselves up for disappointment, I think. We always seem to convince ourselves that we've done all this stuff for them, so they should be more than happy to do it for us. And then we get disappointed, right? Happens all the time. So to be honest with you, this week, there's a lot of energy going towards your career, towards your long-term goals, towards that relationship with your finances, which should be incorporated into all of that. I feel that the moon opposition is really a wake-up call so that you can take charge of those finances and make sure that everything you're planning, every detail the way you need to plan it in order to be successful. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider clicking the link in the description and sending a tip or donation through my coffee link. Would really appreciate that. I'm Melissa Bruce, Savvy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. In the meantime, even the shadow period of the Mercury retrograde is over, thank goodness. So you guys make it a great week. I will see you next week.